Welcome to Jolly Noodle Legs Horror House. Lock the door and don't make a sound. Welcome to Jolly Noodle Legs Horror House. Once you're in, there's no way out.
Hell yeah.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another one of the look at the boutique labels, where I pick 10 releases from that label that I recommend for you guys to pick up if you're thinking of investing, if you will, or looking into collecting titles on that boutique label. Now, we've done a few so far. I've just done Second Sight, we've done BFI, and I've done Arrow Video. I think I've done Eureka. Yeah, and I've done Eureka. So we're up to number 5. And we're going to the grimy one today. We're going to Shameless. Now, Shameless are the Vipco, or the modern day Vipco, if you will. If you know who Vipco are, they are a company that released lots of grimy grindhouse sort of movies and the video nasties, if you will, and a lot of the Italian films that most companies wouldn't touch with a barge pole. They were around sort of like 80s, 90s sort of thing, and they were you had the other label, which was Anchor Bay, which I think Arrow Video are now the modern day Anchor Bay, and they pick up the more prestiged titles, if you will. But under that you would have Shameless, and they would pick up the films that nobody else really wanted. You get quite a few. It's heavily Italian influence label. There's loads of giallos on there. There is some giallos in here. In fact, there's loads in here. But they also pick up some of the video nasties. There's 2 or 3 of the cannibal films available on there. So I've not put them in here as a recommendation, the cannibal ones, just simply because they are a really required taste. And if you don't like ultra violence, or you don't like animal cruelty, they're ones to definitely stay clear of. So I tried to pick ones that didn't focus on that sort of extremeness. There are some quite gory gems in here, but there are some really cool, amazing movies. Let's have a look to see how many Italian ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're all Italian. Okay, they're all Italian. One is Italian Spanish, but yeah. Cool. So they're all amazing films, and they were just they are a really good boutique label, but they do have a few flaws. Their flaw is when it comes to their collector's editions. I know they're getting a little bit better. They've just released a couple that are slightly better, but the problem is they're starting to charge a lot more for these films as well now. And I was thinking, no, come on, Shameless. One of your good things is that you didn't overcharge, but now they do. Now it's nearly £20 for a Blu-ray, £30 whatever for a 4K. And I was just thinking, yeah, come on, guys. You know, you always looked after your fan base. Most of these I got were about, I'd say $12.99, $14.99. A couple of exceptions of newer ones, and there's like a little set here. They were a little bit more pricey, but I expected that because there's more in it. But anyway, they are still really good, and you can pick these up, and they are available on DVD as well. And that's another great thing about Shameless. And what I like about Shameless is that they actually have films on DVD that you can't get on Blu-ray. And I quite like that, and that's really, really cool. But anyway, I'm going to go through 10 Shameless releases that I feel are worth your time if you want to start collecting. And we're going to start off with the one that I reviewed on my channel a couple of weeks ago that I received on, I think it might be Synapse, because I've upgraded it to a uncut version. But we're talking about New York Ripper, the Lucio Fulci video nasty, I believe, about a serial killer in New York. it's a grim tale, but it's a great film. And this is one of their fan editions. This is what I mean. They would class this as like a special edition, but it's that with a reversible cover. And that's it. That's their idea of a special edition. But it's a great film. Highly recommend you picking this up. This could be a good title to start your Shameless collection off, because it is a dirty film. It's really cool. When I mean dirty, I don't mean porn. I mean dirty in the sense it looks grimy. You want to wash after it, because it's like, yeah, it's one of those sort of films. Next up is a giallo by the wonderful Sergio Martino, and it is The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. This is an incredible giallo film, and in fact, if I did a top 10 starters giallo film, I think this one would definitely be in there. But again, this is their Shameless numbered edition, so this one is numbered, as you can see down the bottom there. But what's great about it? Nothing. They just put a number on it, and I'm just thinking, oh wow, they just go with a sticker saying first time on Blu-ray. But cool, it's a great movie. I'm not going to dwell too much on some of the synopsis on them, mostly because I've reviewed them, and also I want you to discover them a little bit yourself. But this is a great giallo. If also you're looking into starting to get into giallo, this is a great one to start with as well. It's a little bit of an obscure one, but it's a really cool one, and that's The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward by Sergio Martino. Next up is another serial killer by, again, Sergio Martino. He's hit us again with Torso. Again, I have reviewed this on my channel. I used to just have this on DVD, but I've not recently just got this. I've upgraded it to this. Now this, I bought this second hand because it was going cheap, about £6 somewhere. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get the Blu-ray because I love the film so much. And I'm glad I did, because the transfer on it is phenomenal. But this again is your numbered edition. Ooh, what's so different in this one? Nothing. The only thing they do with these guys is they give you a reversible cover. So you get like a reversible cover. There's very few of these titles with anything special in them. They do sometimes with a slipcase. They do slipcases sometimes, which is cool. And we're going to look at one of them now. And we're going back to the maestro, Lucio Fulci. And we're going to look at The Psychic, released here on Blu-ray. Really cool film. This is also numbered. This is limited because of the slipcase. Really cool film about this woman that can foresee her death happening, if you will. She's got this sort of psychic abilities and stuff like that. Really cool. Again, nothing in it. If you get it today, you probably get it like this, without the slipcase. But if you can get it with slipcase, grab it. This is an amazing film. It is a giallo, but it does play out more of a psychological thriller as well. It's got more thriller elements than your normal giallo. But most giallos, which I would actually probably put all three of these, although these two are kind of more slashery, I would put them in the giallo because they do have that sort of feel about them. Giallo is a Italian word for yellow, which is a pulp book that used to come out years ago in sort of 40s, 50s, 60s with like thrillers, which were a bit more full on and extreme, if you will, and you know, that with horror elements, and so that created its own thing. And then obviously when films came up, then we got giallo films, which were sort of interpretations of these books. Yes, Psychic, amazing film, really cool, by Lucio Fulci, really cool recommendation. So we're down 4. This next one is a great film. It is Italian, but it stars Rupert Everett, a British heartthrob, and it's a great film called Della Morte Della More, or aka The Cemetery Man, I believe is the English title for the film. A great film about a guy that works in a cemetery, and all these sort of dead come back to life. And there's a little bit of a zombie feel to it, but I can't show you the other sleeve, guys. But it's really cool. This is so cool. It's got some humour in it. It's not a giallo. It's a really cool, basic, classic sort of horror sort of film. With say Rupert Everett starring as working in the cemetery as a cemetery man, and all these weird and wonderful things start happening in the cemetery. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for you. But if I was going to say to start, probably New York Ripper and Della Morte Delamore is another great one to start with. Really cool film. Please check this out if you've never seen it. Incredible, amazing. Next one is one I think come out last year, and it's a Puppy Avanti film, and it's House of the Laughing Windows, which again is another great release. This is one of their collector's edition. This is a giallo film. Again, but has supernatural feel about it. That's why I like this one, because it's a little bit different than your average giallo, where a lot of giallos play out like a cop sort of investigation sort of film. This one was more of a supernatural ways to it, but I really enjoyed it. Again, this is your collector's edition with a reversible sleeve. And that's what makes it collectible. No booklet. It's just the disc, and this was also released on 4K, but it was stupidly priced, like about £32-35. No thank you. This was 20, which I still think was overpriced. I think Blu-rays should be no more than 15 quid, and I think 4K's £22 at a punch. But yeah, but I think at the moment things are getting out of hand. I might be doing a video on that about collecting and how I think the pricing is getting out of hand. I think they're preying on people that collect. I might do a video about that. But anyway, highly recommend this one. Fantastic film, highly original, really cool. The House of the Laughing Windows. So we're down to 4. Next one is the Italian and sort of Spanish sort of a co-production, if you like, and it is the wonderful slasher giallo Stage Fright. To me, this is more of a slasher, but it's a really cool film based in the theatre, where this theatre actors and crew are getting bumped off by this killer dressed in an owl mask in the theatre. Really cool film. If you like things like demons and things like that, where it's all faced in like things like a theatre or things like that, you probably appreciate something like this. Although it's nothing like that, it plays out more like a giallo. It's a really cool film. Again, this is the numbered edition, which again is just got a reversible slipcase, which I actually prefer. And it's just got the film. Really cool. Great film. Another one that you need in your collection if you're a horror fan. If you're a horror fan and you don't have Stage Fright in your collection, you're not a horror fan. Next up is a recent buy for me, and I recently reviewed this on my channel and I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's an Umberto Lenzi film called Oasis of Fear. It took me a while to pick this up, mostly because, again, the price. It's like 20 odd pound for a Blu-ray. This is the numbered one again with the slipcase. And I jumped on it. Nice reversible cover though. I jumped on it because I really love Umberto Lenzi. I think he's one of my favourite Italian directors. And I just really wanted this one in my collection. And I was on two minds about it because, you know, when you're in two minds, you go and look at a few reviews and watch a few reviews. And I thought, I'm going to have a look at it. And people were saying, no, yeah, it's giallo, but it's not. And it's not. It's not a giallo. It's an Italian thriller. It plays out more like a sort of Hitchcock film than it does a giallo. It's a really cool film. I'd class this more as a thriller than I do horror. Erotic thriller, if you will. I'd class it more along those lines than a horror. So just be wary of that. But it blew me away when I watched it. I thought, what a fantastic premise. What a great story. And it was really well acted for an Italian film. So that's really cool. Highly recommend Oasis of Fear. Next up, we're going to an Italian crime film by Lucio Fucci called Contraband, which is again not a horror film. It's a sort of drug baron, gangstery Italian crime film from the 70s. It's extremely violent, extremely gory, very gory and violent. So that appealed to me. Really, really cool. Again, I've got the limited number one, and this is only number 0087. Ooh, quite a low number. Great film. Really, really cool. Again, but nothing there, just reversible sleeve. But I remember this coming out on DVD. It had one of those brilliant lenticular sleeves that when you moved it, it looked like the guy's blown his brains out. It was really, really clever, really cool. And I've only ever seen that on DVD. But yeah, it's a really cool film. But just beware, it is ultra violent, and it's not horror, it's a crime thriller. But we're going to end with horror, and we're going to end with the box set that I'm going to show you, and it is Dario Argento's Symphony of Fear box set. You say, hang on, Joff, that's not Shameless. It is. If you look very closely down the bottom there, it's got like the Shameless logo mixed with another company, because they do run a sub company, I think, called Cult Films, which are a part of Shameless. So that's why this is in here, and this is my highest recommendation if you're going to start collecting Shameless, for a number of reasons. One, it's the greatest director ever, Dario Argento. Two, you have 3 movies in here, and 3, it's got Suspiria in there, which is one of his masterpieces. Although it's not my favourite. My favourite Argento film is Tenebrae. My second is also in here, and it isn't Suspiria. It is Opera. Opera is also in here. And this is a wonderful set. It comes in this sort of flimsy box. You come with the master himself on the picture of the cover. That's so cool. Do you know what? I would love that to have been on the front cover of that. But yeah, you get the master himself on the front cover. And you get all the films on their individual Blu-ray. This contains 3 films. You've got Four Flies in Grey Velvet. You have Opera, which is my second favourite Argento film, and of course you've got the ultimate classic Argento film, Suspiria, which Shameless have just recently re-released on 4K. So you might want to dig that out, but it is expensive. This was about 30 quid. And I thought, well, that's pricey, but you got 3 films in it, so you're paying a tenner each, so that's not too bad. And it also comes with a little set of cards. You have the original artwork for Argento's Opera, and then you have the reversible one on there. How cool is that? And you have one for the Four Flies in the Velvet. Plus, you didn't have the Italian version of the poster. You have the original Suspiria cover, and then the commissioned artwork of Suspiria, which is really, really cool. So that's why this is my highest recommendation. I think he's the greatest director that's ever walked this planet. I mean, yeah, people like Stanley Kubrick, which I love. People like David Lynch, I love. You know, people like all these sort of Chris Nolan and people like that. But Argento's my hero. I just think he's fantastic. You know, I just think he's just the master of not just storytelling, but visually storytelling. There's nothing more stunning than Suspiria. It's just absolutely stunning. So my highest recommendation out of Shameless, if you're going to start, is this Dario Argento box set called Symphony of Fear. Really, really cool. So there you go. That is 10 recommendations from the Shameless label, the Argento set, Contraband, Italian crime thriller, Oasis of Fear, the erotic thriller, Stage Fright, the slasher, the Giallo, the House of the Laughing Windows, the zombie-ish film Della Morte dell'Amore, the psychological thriller horror The Psychic, the Giallo Torso, the Giallo Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward, and the Giallo of New York Ripper. So get stuck in, start collecting Shameless. Massive shout out to my lad. See you soon, guys.